There's a great scene in the movie Rounders towards the end where Matt Damon's character is playing Heads Up, No Limit Texas Hold'em with John Malkovich's character. And they're essentially playing for his life in the context of the plot of the movie. Matt Damon's character's life, that is. And at a certain point along the way, Matt Damon's character discovers John Malkovich's character's tell. He realizes that every time he picks up the Oreos that he has next to him and opens them a certain way, that this indicates that he has a certain type of hand, and this is exemplified in his betting strategy. I won't get into poker theory or anything like that, bore you with those details, but this scene is getting at an idea in the poker world that when you spot someone's tell, you never make them aware of that because they essentially become a ATM for you. If you can spot someone's tell, if you spot an action in their body language or in their betting patterns, and you can connect that to something else that they do so that you can see every time they do it, well, they just became a money-making machine for you because every time you're in a hand with them, you know exactly with reasonable certainty what they have based on this quote-unquote tell. So in this scene, Matt Damon's character discovers John Malkovich's character's tell, and he makes a comment based on the situation that he's in. Hey, normally you spot somebody's tell, you just go on slowly busting them up all night, especially if you're head to head with them, until you have all of their money. But he makes this comment, look, I don't have that kind of time. I can't do that right now. So he makes him aware, hey, I just spotted your tell. And then John Malkovich throws his Oreos off the table, and they continue their heads up match. And I thought of that scene when I was thinking about whether or not to do this video right now, because I've essentially spotted a tell to, with reasonable certainty, explain whether someone is an agent or a con artist on YouTube or not. Now, with my own intuition, having done this for so long and just developed this innate ability to sense whether or not someone is genuine, I don't need a tell to know where someone's allegiance lies when it comes to people who are claiming to be about the truth on YouTube or the internet in general. However, if I'm going to explain that intuition to someone else, I need to have some sort of circumstantial evidence to point to, or I might as well just stay silent because it's essentially slander or libel at that point. If I'm just coming out saying, hey, this person is an agent, but I'm not going to tell you in any other sort of detail why I think that, I'm just going to say it, and then the implication is, oh, well, you just take my word for it. And regardless of how much you might trust what I say based on my track record here, that's not a situation that I want to cultivate for myself, where I just want someone to rely on what I say. But saying that, of course, I do have this hope that I will influence you in some way, or else I wouldn't be doing these videos, right? But it's not to influence you in the sense of, oh, hey, just believe me, believe what I say. And I'm not going to be disingenuous along those lines and say, oh, do your own research, don't trust me, like all of these other people tend to say, because that phrase is meaningless. The majority of people don't know how to do research. It's fashionable to discredit the school system, and for good reason. There's all kinds of corruption in the academic world. However, graduate school in America teaches you how to be a professional researcher. It doesn't matter what the subject is, they teach you how to professionally research. And there's all kinds of etiquette that comes with the research process that you pick up along the way, specifically relating to how you build on the research that came before you, you cite their work, and you don't claim something as your own in that respect. And this is how the academic world functions. And in that respect, it's actually a very valuable thing that's being taught to people. But your average person that just comes onto YouTube and is trying to figure out what's really going on, whatever happens in their life where they start searching along those lines, you tell them to do their own research. Well, what does that mean to them? They don't know how to research something, first of all, in that way. And then what are you telling them? Well, do your own research. Does that mean just watch more YouTube videos of people that may or may not have your best interests in mind? It's a very convoluted thing. But in any event, the reason that I thought of that scene, like I was about to say, is that I'm going to be giving away a tell here that they will inevitably adjust to. And so while it's a tell right now, they'll adjust and it won't be a tell anymore. So it's kind of along the same lines that Matt Damon's character was saying. It's like, look, we're kind of pressed for time here. So while I could just continue acquiring all of this information based on this tell and assemble, some dossier of every single quote unquote truther and whether or not they fall into this category, and then have all of this circumstantial evidence to state who is an agent and who isn't in terms more than just me saying that, right? Well, I could do that, but I think we're pressed for time here with the way the agenda is accelerating to the point where I want to put this out there now so you can put any name that you can think of into this research process and determine on your own whether or not they fall into this category. And you're probably thinking, well, what are you talking about? Just get to the point. Okay, I'll get to the point. But first, before going further, we have to start with this article, YouTube's plot to silence conspiracy theories. From flat earthers to QAnon to COVID quackery, the video giant is awash in misinformation. Can AI keep the lunatic fringe from going viral? This article is from Wired, and it focuses on Mark Sargent. For those of you who don't know, I can't imagine there's anyone listening to this who doesn't know, but Mark Sargent is one of these agents who was put into the scene to serve as the representative of what a quote-unquote conspiracy theorist looks, acts, sounds like. He's very similar to Alex Jones in this respect. It's just that he had a little niche in the community that was revolving around this contrived flat earth resurgence that happened around 2015 on YouTube. So it says here, crucial to his success, Sargent says, was YouTube's recommendation system. The feature that promotes videos for you to watch on the homepage or in the up next column to the right of whatever you're watching. We were recommended constantly, he tells me. YouTube's algorithms, he says, figured out that people getting into flat earth apparently go down this rabbit hole, and so we're just going to keep recommending. Well, this is disingenuous, of course, painting it as if it was this natural phenomenon. No, flat earth was an approved topic being promoted, and so the algorithm was supporting it, which just shows you that YouTube is in on it. And there will be all of the rational explanations that will say, no, YouTube was just focused on this 1 billion view idea. It was in all their corporate literature that they were focused on this, and so they just threw caution to the wind, didn't care what they recommended. Even if it was all of these misinformation conspiracy videos, they just recommended them anyway because it got views. That's all they cared about. So sure, they'll say that, but that's not what it is. These things don't get promoted in the algorithm unless it's approved. And we can see that now with how the algorithm has changed to not allow any of these things to be recommended, but we're getting there. For 4 years, Sargent's Flat Earth videos got a steady stream of traffic from YouTube's algorithms. This is important. Then, in January 2019, the flow of new viewers suddenly slowed to a trickle. Now, This is something that you would have to have a YouTube channel most likely to really understand. And me, speaking on my YouTube channel right now, I witnessed this as well, where I noticed just at certain points along the way in the past few years that they just flipped a switch almost, it seemed like, where my videos were getting a certain amount of views in a certain amount of time, and then that just changed overnight seemingly. And it was really weird, like, what's going on here? Now, what he's referring to here, Sargent that is a specific moment of this in January 2019 where, based on all of the propaganda that was out there, as I've gone over in all the YouTube censorship theater videos, they had the excuse to throttle the algorithms and say, okay, we're no longer going to recommend quote unquote conspiracy videos. And this is when they started putting all the disclaimers under the videos, and this whole campaign that I've discussed in many, many videos about how they have their agents on YouTube and they use those agents to censor what all of us are able to have access to. Because now, if you're trying to search for conspiracy videos and you're new to all this, it'll be very difficult to try to find all of this information. Compared to what it was like when I got into this years ago, when it was just free flowing. You could find anything you wanted. If you typed in a subject, it was just constantly recommended to you afterwards at that point. So in January 2019, the flow of new viewers suddenly slowed to a trickle. His videos weren't being recommended anywhere near as often. When he spoke to his flat earth peers online, they all said the same thing. New folks weren't clicking. Remember this. Starting in January 2019, we have this new thing where there's not the same level of interest based on the views and subscriber statistics that all of these flat earthers and other conspiracy theory channels are noticing and complaining about. What's more, Sargent discovered someone or something was watching his lectures and making new decisions. The YouTube algorithm that had previously recommended other conspiracies was now more often pushing mainstream videos posted by CBS, ABC, or Jimmy Kimmel Live, including ones that debunked or mocked conspiracist ideas. YouTube wasn't deleting Sargent's content, but it was no longer boosting it, and when attention is currency, that's nearly the same thing. You will never see flat earth videos recommended to you, basically ever, he told me in dismay when we first spoke in April 2020. It was as if YouTube had flipped a switch. In a way, it had. Scores of them, really. A small army of algorithmic tweaks deployed beginning in 2019. Sargent's was among the first accounts to feel the effects of a grand YouTube project to teach its recommendation AI how to recognize the conspiratorial mindset and demote it. It was a complex feat of engineering, and it worked. The algorithm is less likely now to promote misinformation. But in a country where conspiracies are recommended everywhere, including by the president himself, even the best AI can't fix what's broken. And here's the agenda to create Donald Trump as the conspiracy theorist president that I've also gone into in many videos already, so I won't go into that here. But you see how him being characterized that way allows them to craft this narrative when they're writing articles like this. So to summarize, we have YouTube in the beginning of 2019 altering its algorithm, essentially shutting out all of these very popular YouTube conspiracy theorist channels to where they're noticing, hey, I'm not getting the same views anymore. I'm not getting the same subscribers anymore. What's going on? And that is the official narrative that all of these people like Mark Sargent are promoting. Now, for those of you who don't know, let's get into a little bit about what's really going on with YouTube views, comments, likes, subscriptions. A lot of people don't know how this really works, so let me start here. What are your options when buying YouTube views? Are you looking to buy YouTube views? Since this is something we get asked by all types of companies, I am going to give you a breakdown of the different ways you can buy YouTube views. You can buy anything nowadays: Facebook likes, Instagram views and likes, YouTube comments, Spotify listens, SoundCloud, TikTok, etc. We have a full list of different things you can buy. Just ask us. This page is all about YouTube views and how to get them. There are only 3 ways to get YouTube views: organically, run YouTube ads, in-stream and in-display, or buy actual views, buying the views outright. The perfect situation is a mixture of 1 and 2, but that doesn't mean that option 3 doesn't happen. We have a lot of big corporations and popular YouTubers who buy views, subscribers, likes, comments, and more. Yes, this is the smoke and mirrors of YouTube. They make it seem like people are more popular than they actually are by padding their view numbers, their subscriber numbers, and artificially growing those numbers over time, steadily, which makes it seem like someone is going viral. Which is not to say that certain things don't go viral, quote unquote, as it were, on the internet, but what I'm talking about is a more abstract idea of how they are manipulating perception through the influence that they can exert on the actual numbers that you're viewing. And all of the SEO materials on YouTube will go into this, telling you they tell you, look, you have to upload consistently, because if you don't do that, the algorithm will not pick up your channel and recommend you. So all of the material that tries to help YouTubers will tell you, look, you got to upload on a consistent basis, whatever it is, once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, and you got to do it no matter what, so you're in the feed constantly. And this is one of the tells that you can focus on when you're looking at a quote-unquote truth or quote-unquote conspiracy theorist channel that is allegedly giving you the truth. Pay attention to how often they upload, because if they're doing videos every day, twice a week, 3 times a week consistently, well, that means one of 2 things. A, they created a business for themselves, and that is more important than any content they're giving out, is the actual business that they're living on. This would be the con artist category, right? And so they're following all the advice that these YouTube SEO companies will give you, any advertising firm would give you. Hey, here's the first thing you got to do: upload consistently. And what I mean by this, as far as it being a tell, is that anybody who genuinely does this type of material will tell you that it is incredibly draining. When I finish this video, because I'm giving so much of myself into it, I'm going to be exhausted. And there's just no way that I could consistently do videos like this twice a week, 3 times a week. There's no way. I would be exhausted. So it is very suspicious when a quote-unquote truther is doing consistent videos week to week, day to day, whatever the case may be. Meaning they're either being paid very well to do that, or it's their job, as it were. It's their job to consistently be making these videos because they are a part of the controlled opposition agenda. We have a lot of big corporations and popular YouTubers who buy views, subscribers, likes, comments, and more. Most videos just are not good enough to grow organically, and buying views or running YouTube ads can accelerate the growth. Organic YouTube view. Popular videos and well-ranked videos can get a lot of views. It's a lot simpler to rank a video and take the #1 spot on YouTube than to take the #1 spot on Google. It does take a bit of skill, and the keyword may not get a lot of traffic. This is still one of the simplest ways to produce YouTube views. Buy YouTube ads. A lot of popular YouTube campaigns create millions of views through buying YouTube ads. Examples are Purple Mattress, Grammarly, and Geico. They get millions of views buying ads. This is also a way you can scale a video marketing campaign. And I mean, I shouldn't even have to go into this, but if a quote-unquote truth video has advertising on it, I mean, that right there just tells you what they're about. I mean, why would you let these corporations advertise on your video if you're actually involved in understanding what's really going on in the world. If you knew even a little bit, you would never allow that. So, and that's like an instant exclusion. Buy views. This may be a little controversial, but a lot of YouTubers buy views. I mean, the overwhelming majority of them do that, and this is in all phases. I'm just talking about conspiracy videos here. Buying views could be part of an overall marketing plan, and it works well. People will watch videos with more views, and that's why they do it, because of this psychology that the media created since the time that we're very young, where popularity, perceived popularity that is, equals legitimacy. This is how they craft who is worth listening to. Oh, if you're promoted as popular by the mainstream media, that makes you credible. Regardless of anything else that might be behind the scenes, this is how people are wired to perceive credibility. So this works on YouTube as well, to where from the mainstream perspective, if you don't have a lot of views, you aren't credible. Why would I listen to you? So this is why there is such an emphasis on buying views, subscribers, likes, comments, to give the illusion, the same way a magician would trick you on stage into believing something that really didn't happen. Well, this is what they're doing with the YouTube views and subscriber counts by boosting them with these fake views and fake subscribers. They're giving you the illusion that someone is more popular than they really are. And so you see from in the conspiracy sphere how this plays into promoting their own agents, promoting controlled opposition in this way, by giving them the illusion of many hundreds of thousands of views in some cases, which is laughable. But by providing that illusion, or hundreds of thousands of subscribers, that is, and millions of views, they provide the illusion that, oh, this is someone important. This is someone worth listening to. And then the mainstream media uses those characters in their articles, like that article I was just going over on Mark Sargent, or Alex Jones, or James Corbett, or any of the popular names you can think of, David Icke. This is how they give those characters perceived legitimacy in the minds of those they're primarily trying to reach, which aren't people like you that are trying to find the truth. It's the people that are on the fringes still and don't know any of this is going on, but they point to someone like Alex Jones and they say, oh, he was talking about turning frogs gay. Right. Those are the kind of people that are talking about vaccine safety. You see, I mean, you guys know how this game works, but some of you don't. I mean, I know that based on what I'm observing here, that there's some people listening to this right now who don't know how this works yet. When you buy YouTube views, are they real views or bots? Great question. When you buy views, they are click farms, or the views come from highly visited websites where they embed the video on a website with a lot of traffic. These types of viewers are not qualified viewers. Yes, they are a person, but do not assume that these views will turn into a future engagement. And I can almost guarantee that these agents that are a part of the clandestine, black budget, three-letter word acronym organizations, they have their own companies that have click farms established, and that is sourced out to them to provide the illusion of credibility for some of these accounts. Yes, they are a person, but do not assume that these views will turn into a future engagement. Take note that all purchased YouTube views are not the same. You have a lot of different options. You can buy views from different countries. You can buy high retention YouTube views, meaning they stay on your video for up to 2 to 5 minutes. And that's how you kind of game the algorithm, right? Because the longer that people stay on has an impact on how the algorithm perceives your video. What can you buy? YouTube views. YouTube views USA. YouTube views high retention USA views. YouTube comments, likes, dislikes, and subscribers. And subscribers is the one that I'm going to focus on primarily here. Basically, you can buy anything on YouTube, and you can do the same on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, and more. Since we have had many YouTube view orders, we decided to create a simple platform to buy YouTube views in any quantity you would like. It will be coming soon. In the meantime, here's how it works, blah, blah, blah. And here you have YouTube views, $27 for 5,000, $5.20 per 1,000 views. But pay attention to how they're all even numbers here. It's just straight up 5,000 views. And then you can do the same thing for subscribers, which usually cost a little more, right? $50 for 1,000 subscribers, because subscribers is the most impactful on the psychology of those who are perceiving whether or not you are credible in the mainstream context, that is. Okay, so we have this background on buying YouTube views, subscribers, likes, comments, and providing the smoke and mirrors, the illusion of credibility. And we have this buying of views in the context of what Wired was going over here, where in January of 2019, YouTube changed the algorithm to where it's not promoting conspiracy theorist concepts or subjects anymore, and all of these channels are feeling the effects. So now let's connect the dots, and I've used two popular YouTube channels to give an example of what I'm connecting here. And the first one is the Leak Project. Now, here is the timeline, January 2019. This is when YouTube changed the algorithm. So here is the tell that took me a long time to get to, almost 30 minutes. But you have this trend, this censorship theater that I've described it as happening on YouTube, where their agents are pretending to be censored. They're purposefully making videos in a way that YouTube will censor them. And then that led to this push in the context of the larger agenda to alter the algorithm to where these videos aren't being recommended anymore. And now here's the obvious implication. If these videos aren't being recommended anymore, then the views and subscribers on these channels should be taking a dive. They should be going down, or they should be leveling off and not expanding rapidly, or expanding in any sort of meaningful way. But when you look at a channel like Leak Project, notice something interesting. Well, the subscribers, this only goes back to January 2018. This is Social Blade, the website, by the way, if you're not familiar. Total subscribers monthly, we have just under 200,000 subscribers in January 2018. And yet, in spite of this trend, this channel has still acquired 50,000 subscribers since the algorithm changed, and has acquired since January 2018 a little under 200,000 to almost 400,000 subscribers. So in spite of this agenda, this channel is still somehow gaining a huge number of subscribers. How is that possible? Well, the obvious answer is this channel is buying YouTube subscribers and views and comments and likes, providing the illusion that they are popular. Why? Well, it's one of two things. I don't really care which one makes you feel more comfortable. If you want to call him a con artist, that's fine. Or if you want to call him an agent, you can do that too. Doesn't matter. But obviously what's going on here is something very fishy as it relates to the fact that this channel is somehow still able to acquire all of these subscribers and is still gaining all of these views, regardless of the fact that it is not being recommended anymore. Do you see the problem here? The obvious implication is that from the beginning, these views are fake, okay? Because what you have to understand is they are trying to claim that this channel has 360,000 subscribers. Do you understand? Just think of this in a common sense way. And this goes for any truth, quote unquote, channel that has this many subscribers. Just look around every day now at people wearing masks. Do you think that there are this many people on the planet who would even subscribe to a channel like this? Of course not. There's probably not even like 10,000 people on the entire planet that get deep enough into this stuff to actually subscribe to one of these channels and look into it. especially as you go deeper in the subject matter. I mean, this is something that I notice on my own channel where the deeper I go, the more truth that I try to get to, the less popular it gets, right? Oh, do a video like this talking about agents. It'll be way higher in the view count than my other videos that are more serious and useful because people love drama. And they know that, and that's why they stage all of these beefs and flame wars between their controlled opposition agents, because they know you love the drama. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? A lie? That's just the facts. I'm not saying I'm immune from that. I mean, I'll watch a video along these lines because it's entertaining, right? That's something we all have to come to terms with. What are we watching this stuff for? Is it entertainment at this point, or are we actually getting anything out of it? So yes, from the beginning, a channel like this comes on the scene and is artificially boosted by buying likes, subscribers, comments, etc., which provides the illusion that it is popular and is some sort of arbiter of what is covered in these sorts of discussions, and therefore what is representative of what these type of people discuss. Conspiracy theorists or truthers, as it were, whatever, right? So another channel along these lines is Quantum of Conscience. And similarly, this channel is alleged to have 70,000 subscribers. And, oh, before going on to this one, just going further, I almost forgot to mention on the Leak Project. Now, something interesting happens down here on the monthly subscribers. So here we have January 2019 when YouTube, that is, stopped the algorithm from recommending these videos. And if you notice on all these data plots, it's odd numbers, right? 237,924, 25 or 245,172, etc., right? All of these odd random numbers, and that would be expected, right? If this channel was buying views and subscribers, well, there would still be regular people here and there that would subscribe to them, right? And so this would produce unpredictable numbers. Now, an interesting thing happens once January and May rolls around. We get to this point where all of these odd numbers stop, and then all of a sudden it's all these even numbers where he's just adding like 1,000 subscribers, 2,000 subscribers, 2,000 subscribers in even numbers. And that makes no sense. I mean, surely there would be a randomness to it where ordinary people are subscribing. So I wonder if this channel just completely dropped off at some point and was getting no subscribers, to where now, late into 2020, really the whole 2020 year, we're seeing just artificial bought subscribers added here. Do you see what I'm saying? How obvious this is? So this is the tell that I'm describing. Like, why would it just go down to these obvious, even unlikely numbers when before it was like this? Now, maybe this is some change in the way that subscribers are reported. I don't know. It could be that. That could be an innocent explanation there, objectively. But still, this is very telling here that this is happening when it used to be like this back when the videos were being recommended. It's like the algorithm changed, and now all of a sudden it's only the fake subscribers being added. So I wanted to get to that real quick. But going back to Quantum of Conscience, we'll go down and look. Excuse me. We'll go down and look at the same graph, and this one's even more glaring, right? This channel allegedly went from 2,500 subscribers in January 2018 to almost 70,000 in 2 years. Or I guess it's almost 3 years. So 70,000 in almost 3 years. That's laughable. Especially coming from someone like myself who has an actual YouTube channel that's been doing YouTube videos since 2016, almost 5 years. And I have 600 subscribers in 5 years. Now, in fairness, I don't do anything to promote my channel. I don't do any of the SEO BS. And I don't link my channel anywhere because that's how I prefer to do it, because it reduces the attention that I'm getting, and that's how I want it. I only want people who are deeply searching all of these concepts to find my videos, because Well, for a variety of reasons that I won't even get into right now, but that's how I prefer it. So, in fairness, objectively, you could say, well, yeah, that's going on. And then on top of that, no one ever recommends me or promotes me that has any sort of influence. So, they'll say for a channel like this, oh, well, they're promoted by Owen Benjamin. But Owen Benjamin's a part of it too. So it's like this pyramid scheme, this House of Cards, smoke and mirrors, right? Where they say, oh, well, they're promoted by this channel, and that's how you explain how they've increased their subscribers so substantially. But it's like, well, no, that's all part of the game, don't you see? But anyway, this one's even more glaring where 25,000 subscribers when YouTube altered the algorithm, and then even while this is going on and this channel isn't being recommended anymore, you have this 20,000 subscriber jump sometime between January and May of 2019. So this is very unbelievable in the scheme of what we just went over with that article about Mark Sargent. And then likewise, you have the same thing going on. January 2019, you have this insane jump in views in spite of the algorithm no longer recommending this channel and others like it, like really all of them. And then it's just this steady increase. A little over 2 years, it goes from 90,000 video views to 4 million. So this is clearly artificial. This is not organic views, subscribers, likes, comments, etc. And when you go and look at their channels on YouTube, which I'm not going to do right now, but if you actually go look at them, this is obvious. Bots in the comments section providing the illusion of popularity, because these type of channels are the ones that are promoted as being what conspiracy theorists are talking about. And I won't even get into all of the other stuff that this channel is doing along the lines of neurolinguistic programming and frequencies that are put in the video. That's another rabbit hole that you can figure out on your own, because I'm sticking to just this one obvious objective thing here where we have this trend of YouTube views and subscribers being throttled by the algorithm, in theory, right? If no one's being recommended these videos anymore, who's finding them to increase the amount of subscribers and views? Do you see how this makes zero sense? This is an obvious tell. And it won't be like this anymore in the future. They'll adjust to this. And you also have to understand that some of the accounts, some of these controlled opposition agents are playing the long game, and so they won't so obviously do this, and some of them only have a few hundred subscribers, so you have to understand that they're playing that game too. But an interesting thing happened too, the same thing with his monthly subscribers, where there are these odd random numbers, presumably a result of actual real people subscribing to this channel, and then the same thing happens around the same time where it's all these even numbers, to where, oh, is it just the bot views and subscribers coming through now? Going through these click farms that they use. So this is a glaring, obvious tell that you can put any name like Quantum of Conscious or Leak Project, just pick a truther, put their name into Social Blade and look at it in these terms, and you'll be able to see, oh, this channel is buying subscribers. And it should be obvious if they have thousands of subscribers anyway that they're doing this, but now here's some circumstantial evidence that you can use to prove that to yourself. This is undeniable circumstantial evidence, an undeniable tell that these are fake channels, right? What truther, quote unquote, would go to the extent of buying subscribers or views to make themselves seem more popular? The answer is none. No genuine person would do that. So you can delude yourself into thinking that these people are somehow real in spite of what I'm going over here, but that's your problem that you have to deal with, not mine, right? I've done my part. So then we can just finish up on my channel. The reason that I think that it might be not just, like I said, some change in how they're reporting the statistics is if you go to my channel, it's still random numbers. It's not even numbers, right? 83, 91, 602. It's not these even 1,000 tranche subscriber boosts that channels like Quantum of Conscious and Leak Project are getting. And you can see I had 117 in September of 2017, and now I have a little over 600. So I got 500 subscribers in 4 years. So that tells you the growth that you actually get when you go deep into these subjects and you don't do any sort of promotion and it's just word of mouth. Like, this is what happens. You get 500 subscribers in 4 years, right? You don't get 70,000, and let alone 300,000, 500,000. That's absurd, ludicrous, right? So I'll leave it there. You guys can make of this what you will, but I've done my part here, and I'll leave it at that. Later.